Welcome to the show. This week, we are going full anarchy. Why? Why is the Federal Reserve not backed by gold anymore? Why have we switched to paper money? Why does everyone believe that Bitcoin is the future? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Bitcoin. I love all the crypto. I don't really use it. Seems kind of repto to me, some reptilian shit to be doing at this point. But the main thing I don't get about Bitcoin is why do we believe it's good just because it's a currency with a limited amount that can't be reprinted, allegedly? What I don't understand is, from what I've read, nobody knows who created Bitcoin. There's nobody really managing Bitcoin. It's just kind of created and let loose, that certain amount were created. It was the first of its kind, or the first to gain popularity, and ever since it went off, it's just been circulating and doing its thing in wallets. But the person who allegedly created it, Satoshi whatever, might even be a group of people. Nobody's sure who the guy is. I mean, it's just very, very, repto to me. It screams reptilian. I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't believe that nobody controls it. It's just a vacuous thing that's out there in the ether because some guy randomly created it and he never had access to his billion whatever amount wallet. No, that doesn't jive. That shit's something's off about that. Like, I'm all for a cryptocurrency, and I guess part of the problem for me might be that it sounds too good, It sounds way too good. Like, it just got created. There's nobody tracking it or, creating any more of it. It's not going to be inflated or deflated. The guy who, created it doesn't even have access to his original amount, so he can't fuck with the market like that. I don't know. It's too many things that all seem way too, like, a good idea and way too good to be true. And, if someone quacks like a duck and fucks like a duck with a crazy corkscrew penis in, like, a very aggressive manner, then it's probably a duck. It's probably a duck. It was my birthday on Monday. I turned 30. I don't feel any different, but, I'll report back. I'm sure that'll change as the year goes on. I'll start referring to people as youngins and become one of those girls that since high school has been talking about, well, when we were little, back in my day, and, when I was in high school. It's great. I love them. I love you guys. It's not a bad thing, but it is a thing, and I try to avoid it. I don't feel that much older. I guess I just feel much wiser, as always. Call me Nebuchadnezzar. I just grow wiser and wiser. But no, it was great. I went out with the family, One day we went out to Helen, this little Germanish, Dutchish mountain town out in Georgia. Spent the day out there, walked around their little downtown. It's all like, the whole town is just themed. I'm not sure if it's like old German or Dutch, maybe a mix of both, but it's got like those cool little, I guess, old European Germanish type buildings, and it just looks like a little village in the downtown. So it's fun. It's always really nice around Christmas, and I think they do something for Easter, and we always go during Oktoberfest. I love it. They've got a river and rafting. It was fun. And then on Sunday, we went out to dinner. You know, I got to take my pick since I was taking everybody out. And I took them to a nice little Italian spot in Alpharetta, which if it wasn't like 30, 45 minutes away from me, I could definitely see myself being like, becoming like a frequenter of. I would sort of grow an addiction to this Italian spot. It's super fire. They love to advertise how they fly in their flour from Italy and everything's handmade the day of. It's all imported ingredients from Italy to try to keep it as authentic as possible. I asked one of the servers one time, and they said that they were told that they believe that the flavor is better on products straight from Italy. They gave me the whole, I don't know why, but you know, people in Italy, they eat pasta every day. They'll eat pasta 3-4 times a week, and they don't gain any weight. So we try to keep it as authentic as possible. People in Italy don't gain any weight because most of the time they're eating fucking salad or soups. You know, Romania's not that different. There's a lot of days where you don't eat till lunch. For lunch, you have a soup, and then for dinner, you eat an entire pig's rectum. You bust down the pig's fucking, you feel me, and you hit the Pac-Man in that. So, I don't know how good the fact that the flour is from Italy, you know, at the end of the day, wheat is wheat. But I do love the food. It tastes very good. And I guess they've done a good job of convincing me that it's healthier and less frozen than like every other restaurant that I've been to and in the area. But, you know, they're super jug. They're cheap enough for me. They don't charge over like $30 a plate. Everything's reasonably sized. You know, you're not getting the French diner experience where you order an entire meal and you get like 3 cloves of garlic and a French lady farting in your mouth. Yeah, it was delicious. You know, I had a great birthday. Thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I'll try to not wish you one on yours. But yeah, not much has been updated. I mean, a lot has gone on in the news. How am I gonna lie? It's been a crazy week. But besides everything that's been going on in the news that's brand new, we haven't really gotten many updates on the drones. For at least, you know, there's drones flying all over the East Coast, 5 to 6 foot drones that they say are like very large and can fly for 5 to 6 hours. You know, it's definitely something that I think everybody who's heard of is just like, what the fuck? I want to know more. What's going on? And then the more you look into it, the more it feels like, you know, you're digging for gold in a fucking, I don't know, something that doesn't have gold in it. Because there's nothing. Every official source that has talked about it, the government, the fucking I think it was the governor of New Jersey was saying he talked to local officials, and the word from Washington has been that they don't know what it is. They don't know where these drones are coming from. They don't know how they're where they've been created because it's technology we don't seem to have. But they assured us that it's no threat and that it doesn't seem to pose any immediate danger to what? What the fuck are they talking about? It doesn't pose any immediate danger. If one of those things just shuts off or anything, it can kill somebody. Like, apparently these things are huge. Like, they've gotten as big as the size of minivans. It's just a flying fucking minivan. But I gotta get a driver's license to operate a fucking DJI, like one of the tiny little follow you around drones. But it's nothing to worry about. Your government cares about you. I'm reminded of that episode of South Park where Butters is trying to talk to God and he ends up getting sent into the DMV, and he talks to the DMV people like he's in confession and he has his prayers answered. You might as well go talk to the DMV about it, because they're not going to tell us what's going on with these drones, because it's probably them. At this point, I don't understand what they could be doing with them, because otherwise, aside from running some sort of like test on us to see how we react to having all this shit over us and how long it takes before we literally just stop bringing it up altogether, you know, I don't know what they could be doing. It doesn't seem to add up. Like, okay, they're testing them out but don't want anybody to know. No, they could do that in a million places with nobody there. There has to be a specific reason that they're going over like populated areas, coastlines. Like, I don't know. Everybody was, when it first happened, a lot of people I'd seen commenting on it were saying, could they be Chinese drones? There's this story about an Iranian mothership, but I haven't heard anything about these things flying around like, you know, military spots or like weapons depots around America. They've just been like coming in over the ocean, flying over houses and like random shit, and then flying back out. Crazy. Don't know what's going on with that. Don't know if we'll ever be told. Maybe they'll just disappear and, you know, they'll get swept under the rug. Yo, what, the drones? Yeah, it was weird, right? Thank God they disappeared. So, I don't know. Still no updates on Luigi. Where are you coming from? Mangione. People are, you know, making a lot more fan art, trying to make him out to be some kind of hero and shit, though. So that's one thing, I guess, that Luigi's got going for him. I don't know. There's not much to go on, and there probably won't be much updates on Luigi or, you know, how they're keeping him, what's going on. I just hope they don't, you know, send some random white supremacist or other gang leader to be his new bunkmate for like 2 days, and he randomly ends up having hung himself while it was just them two in there. The guard fell asleep, all the camera footage is cut, you know, the Epstein treatment, which it doesn't seem like that or anything like that might happen, but it does seem kind of like the government is pissed because people are, you know, prying into government business, and, you know, they might have some people in Washington, I mean, and in New York politics might have some money coming in from United Healthcare. So I could see how that could cause some sort of conflict of interest. But we'll see. Hopefully they let the guy at least speak his piece and get some word out to the American public, because it's clearly, you know, not great. It's not great to murder somebody in cold blood after trying to hit on the barista at Starbucks at like 6 a.m., 5 a.m., I don't know. It's not great. I don't approve of murder ever, personally. But I do see how he could be justified in this, at least in his own mind and in the minds and hearts of a lot of people who are tuning into the story, you know? Because clearly it's rich people versus the poor people, and the poor people have to do some crazy shit like this to even get heard, not just by the rich people, but by poor people at large. Like, yeah, this was happening, you know, the United Healthcare has been denying claims for not, you know, believing that the service provided was necessary, or that it, you know, the patient required life-saving treatment when they did. But again, I don't know if murdering the CEO would be the way to go. I would go for the board. Personally, I'd, find out who the CEO is, maybe try to cut him in if my family was big enough, 100 millionaires enough. And then I would start basically systematically trying to off the board, if anything, I imagine would be his plan. Because why kill a CEO? It's like killing the president. All right, you killed Biden. He's not really running much anyway. Nothing is going to change. It's just there's going to be a new face for this bullshit that's getting spewed at us. So I hope that if anything comes of this, it'll be people thinking about insurance more and why we pay into it, how we can figure out how to press these companies into a dark corner where they will have to lower the cost to that. If nothing else, lower the cost based on income. If you're generating $100,000 a year, you shouldn't be paying the same amount for insurance as somebody who's generating $1 million a year. Granted, yeah, I agree. People should still have stipulations. If you smoke, it's more this and that, right? But it should still be within reason. I shouldn't have to be paying fucking, what is it, somewhere around $700-800 a month. I believe it's closer to it was closer to 1,000. Now it's around $800 a month just for car and health insurance. And my health insurance is an $8,000 deductible before I can use any of the insurance, really. I tried to make an appointment. I went in. I was sick. I was hurting. I had a hemorrhoid in my ass that had literally made me physically ill. So I go to this doctor. I wake up at fucking 7 a.m. to be there by 8. I get there. I wait half an hour in their lobby with some old Egyptian man with a COVID mask on, fucking burying his whole life away. The whole time. Just for them to call me up half an hour later, talking about, we tried to run your insurance and we're not sure if you're aware there's an $8,000 deductible before, anything is covered. I said, oh, that's unfortunate. Well, I really need this. She said, yeah, without insurance, just today's general visit will be about $250. And then you'll have to come in at least one more time so the doctor can see you about what you actually came here for. And I said, is that going to be $250 as well? She said, yes, if she decides to run any sort of... Oh my God, how am I don't make that much. I might walk home with close to $2,000 a month. A month. Not for lack of trying. I mean, I have applied at a million places. I have ended up in a jeweler's apprenticeship, recording this podcast, making music, and music videos and content to hopefully not have to work for $15.50 an hour. One day. It's not looking like that right now, things are looking pretty bleak for old Bo right now. Not really, but not like I'll be able to run away from making $15.50 an hour for at least another year or two. At least not without tremendous efforts required, along with tremendous luck. But luck is just when preparedness meets opportunity, so I'm practicing every day. I'm almost making jewelry. I was going to say I'm not making jewelry. I am repairing jewelry. I am practicing soldering and the whole philosophy of the jewel and the ring and the piece. So that will get put together. And once I can put my craft together a little more, everything will basically stay the same. I'll keep making and dropping music regularly, videos, podcasts. I'm working on it. I promise I'm working on getting a video podcast going, a video version of this, essentially. I'm not sure how we want to do it. I'm kind of trying to do some guests, some solo episodes, because, I like just talking to you. It's just me and you. We smoke some dope. We get a couple edibles in us. We fucking see the devil together, and we get back to it like it ain't nothing to it but to do it. Come on. I'm just saying, I don't got no worries. I'm sure this will all be for the best, and I thank anyone who's tuning in. But the point is, I might be doing Zoom podcast. I hate Zoom podcast. I could barely watch it. There's a few I can watch, okay? I love Matt and Shane. I can watch Matt and Shane's Zoom cuck casts over and over. I've watched them a million. Sometimes when they really get to it, you can do it. I can also watch the Come Town Zooms because, honestly, I don't know why, but the audio sound almost identical. I'm not sure if they just used the Zoom video and they all had like separate mics recording or something. That could be another thing, to think about. But a good way to get video across the states. Most of my friends are in California. I'm in Georgia. But they all do dope shit. They're great people, and I know they've got a bunch of stories about what's going on. Maybe some Hollywood stories, We got some local drama, small town politics, I know could be coming in hot, and the best way to reach them, I think, at this point in the pod, since we don't have a Patreon or anything going yet, is going to be to probably just Zoom them. I don't really like the call quality, and I'm not sure of any other way that I could essentially Wi-Fi it. I guess we could record like a Clubhouse or some type of go into Discord and just record the audio through my computer for both, all through Discord. But the video on Discord's not as reliable as Zoom. And I'm sure you all love this. This is probably the greatest pod talk of all time. I'm sorry. Let's get into some stories. Man arrested trying to enter U.S. Capitol with machete as President Carter lies in state. I'm not sure if by in state they mean in D.C. or in some kind of state. But a man was caught trying to enter the Capitol building with a machete. Just casually having, I wonder if he had the machete in hand or if you got it on your hip, because he didn't come with a holster. He's not that fancy. If anything, he tied it around like a shoestring and had it hanging on his side like a pirate. Just walked up. "Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to go pay my respects to President Gerald Carter. Got a couple things to say to that man." "Sir, is that a machete? Do you have a machete tied to a shoestring like a pirate around your hip?" "I reckon I might." "Yeah, this is the Capitol building, sir. You're going to have to go across the street if you want to do anything with that machete on your hip." "Well, that's fine. I was just looking for something warm and frothy to cover my mustache with anyway. It's a living." I'm just saying, I don't understand unless he had it, very hidden, all the way up his ass, how he thought he could walk in with a machete. I mean, I guess when you see the footage of January 6th and all those guys who were looked like they were working for the Capitol building or maybe the FBI or just moving barricades and opening little side gates and stuff, like, oh no, come on in, funnel this way. Maybe he was like, hey, people just welcome you into the cat. I'm American. The fuck? The fuck? Yeah. I don't know. Everybody gets crazy around the holidays. There was a man, I forget his name. I thought his name was Ali something Hasrad or whatever his last name was, but I believe it might have been a different name. Regardless, Texas native crashed a truck into Bourbon Street on New Year's Day or New Year's night. New Year's Eve night, New Year's Day, I believe. Insane. And then, I believe it was the same day, if not a day or two later, a Cybertruck blows up outside of the Trump Hotel in Vegas, full of fireworks. Insane. I saw that footage first, and I've just been trying to put it together the past couple days. Because I'm not, and don't take any of my advice on this. I might be an expert, but I don't recommend that you take my advice as word. Word is bond. Say it to me in person, and if I can look you in the eyes and say it right, like we should agree on it, then maybe we can agree on it. But if not, Google what I say, make up your own minds. I'm not here to try to mind control anybody. But I did see some sort of video. I think it was Eddie Griffin's weekly news update, NNN. He was talking about, he found a video with this guy alleging that the truck that was, I think it was the truck that was used in the New Orleans terror attack that had like an ISIS flag hanging off the side is the same. I think it was like a lightning. That's the car. It has like, it's like a pickup truck, one of these newer, I don't know if it's a Ford Lightning or a Dodge, but it has like on the tailgate, on the back little fucking trunk shit, it's got lightning written across it. And there was the exact same white lightning right in front of the parked right in front of the Cybertruck at the Tesla spot. And I think in this video they were saying that first of all, both the Cybertruck and the Lightning used in the New Orleans attack were cars rented off Turo. The guys went on Turo. It's like, oh, how much to rent this car per day? You can pick there's like 1 million cars. It's like scrolling through Amazon. They've got a bunch of cars and prices per day. So, he's like, oh, what's a big car that I can crack a bunch of fucking, and he's just finding the tankiest car possible. And then, okay, well, I'm only going to need it for a day. And then you go meet up with the driver or the owner, pick it up from, when I used Turo, I picked it up from their house. It was very strange to pick up a car I'm renting for the week from your house. But I did. So, I don't know. I don't know what Turo has to do exactly with the whole thing besides the fact that both cars were on Turo. But yeah, apparently there was the exact same lightning that was used in the New Orleans attack. If not, still very weird that parked right in front of this car committing this clear PSYOP government attack is the exact same car. Also very weird that it was a white pickup truck with the word lightning across it. On that video I was watching, they were making some sort of like lightning struck reference. I don't know. Very weird, but my condolences to the families of and everyone affected. I wish them well. The driver from the Cybertruck was supposedly found with, I think it was a pistol in between his legs and a self-inflicted gunshot wound, I believe, to the head. I don't know. Whenever I hear about a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, especially when it's somebody tied to the government, military, politics, fucking male people, you should always raise an eyebrow at a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Unless you, personally know the person and are like, oh, no, that checks out, Sometimes it checks out, but I don't think it checked out, big dog. It was a hairy situation. I don't know. U.S. Justice Department accuses 6 major landlords of scheming to keep rents high. I am the Lord, this is my land, and I will tax you, bitch. Be my bitch and rent my land so I can tax you. And the sad part is, a lot of these people are just repeating the cycle of abuse that they've known since childhood. When they were little, their parents rented from some asshole landlord who kept increasing the price every year by a percentage. So when they grew up, they wanted to be that. They didn't want to be that asshole, really, but they felt it was only fair, a bully bullying kids because his older cousin bullied him, because his sister's boyfriend threw him in the closet and made him wait there while he played video games until his sister got off work and made it a big deal. I don't know. But these landlords are always scheming, and the rent is still too damn high. I saw this very interesting guy. He was talking to some big, I think he was talking to Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. And Mr. Wonderful was asking him, you own all these properties, but you don't raise your rent. What's going on? And the guy said, simply, I don't raise my rent on my tenants. I lock them in at whatever rate I get them at, because I think it's much more important to me to be able to have somebody who's paying their rent on time. Maybe they're a family or something, but they're consistent. They have a good schedule, and sometimes they might be late. They might not pay it all at once, but they pay it on time or within a week or two, whatever. That is a much better situation overall than having some random, Chinese LLC buy up half of your building and nobody sits, and it's not lived in. People walk by just looking sad and like they need a place to live, while your apartments might get used a month out of the year if, the apartment's lucky. I mean, yeah, that's great for the, renter too. But at the end of the day, those people are going to be on to the next random big American city or whatever pretty soon. And you're going to have to find another tenant. You're going to have months in between. Nobody's going to fit the criteria. It's going to be all drug dealers and pimps and, people that you don't really want to have to depend on or entangle your life with at all. So he was saying it's more important, and he has no problem with it. He's had families that have lived in his buildings or in his homes for over, I think it was over 8 years now. It was getting close to 10, somewhere near 10. And he says they're paying the same price they paid when they got in there. They're locked at that price. They can, to show me the contract if I try to raise it on them or kick them out. He said, but I feel like I'm winning and kind of cheating people too, because with these other spots that get vacanted out, or once this family wants to buy their own home and they finally end up moving out, I raise my rent by, mind you, I'm already still more than covering. But once they leave, I raise my rent to close to, if not, right at where the median is at that time. And I end up making so much more money. I was making enough money off the family that just moved, but I have to raise it now because otherwise, I'm going to have some either undesirable type of tenants, or I'm going to end up not making enough to cover everything just with inflation if it's been 10, 20 years. Since it's already been almost 10 with that one group, you end up having to raise the month's rent like $1,000 just to keep up with prices, And Mr. Wonderful was just looking at this guy like, oh my God, I hope you eat a bag of dicks and the firecrackers go off after you swallow them. Because he's like, I don't understand why you would do this when you can just incentivize for profit, when you can just maximize the profit, young lad, and it's always nice to have money, and the moment is the moment. You might not get another one, it's all that, but I don't know, the other guy seemed like he had a lot better of a disposition in general. I mean, it seemed like he might have had a lot better of a life, He definitely had a lot more hair than Mr. Wonderful. And no grays that I could see. So, speak power to truth. Truth to power. Yeah, I don't really know about truth to power, but speak power to the truth for sure. Empower the truth and people telling you the truth always. And try to find the truth and stick to it. If you're young, that might just sound like a load of cocks gobbles, but I promise you it will make more sense at some point. Driver charged with killing Goudreau brothers pleads not guilty after rejecting deal for 35-year prison term. Insane. Now, I'm not sure who the Goudreau brothers are. I'm not sure that I really care, to be honest, but I was going to guess, I'm looking at it now, I was going to guess that the driver, was probably drunk and that it was some sort of DUI, either hit and run or hit and accidentally kill and feel horrible for type of story. Don't drink and drive, people. What the fuck? I swear to... I know it's hard. Trust me. I understand. I get that it can be difficult. But you know your limits. If you're really spinning, if you have no choice, take a nap in the car for 30 minutes. Just sit it out as long as you can. Because sitting it out is probably going to help you sweat it out, whatever, get to a better place to where you can actually drive a little more. Even if it's just to get yourself into a better headspace. I recommend you wait till your blood alcohol goes down. But if, it can't happen, you got to move your car, nobody's there, it's got to be a lot of things to push you to that point. That's why, I tell my friends, you kind of just want to do this. If you really didn't want to do this, it'd be fine. But you really do want to do this. People love driving drunk in America. It's one of our favorite pastimes. And it's something that I think we can learn from. If not from others, at least from ourselves. In small, Learn from yourself at the house. Learn from yourself in a way that is not going to harm others. That's all. So, post on r/crack smokers. This is the subreddit Reddit page for harm reduction and general knowledge about crack smokers and smoking, I guess. And from what I can tell, this subreddit is mostly crackheads asking people for recipes to cook crack. I mean, yeah, it's mostly either that or people posting something along the lines of, God damn, does anybody else get crazy horny from crack? And then there'll be like a million comments talking about, oh, bro, I'm up and you can send me pics. Bro, please just send me pics type shit. So it's a great time, you know. If I'm ever feeling down, I will go to the r/crack smokers, and our crack smokers will receive a bow, and I will receive a laugh. I mean, I don't know why, but it's just the things you see on here, something that, following my general boring daily routine, I don't experience anything along the lines of, is it worth it? I never tried crack, and I think there's no better spot to ask than this subreddit. I wanted to know if it's worth it, or is it just a lifeless addiction? How is the high? Do y'all remember everything? I imagine this is some like 14-year-old kid who's just like, well, let's find out what crack is like. You know, in a month or two, he's going to be showing up to his English class with his final or his quarterly project talking about, I posted on the r/crack smokers subreddit and I asked them, is it worth it? Let's read some comments. Listen, don't, pal. It's the best day and the worst day of your life. All in one. Don't touch it. Stay strong. It seems to hit everyone differently. Some people are immediately hooked and fucked, and some can do it occasionally. I can smoke for 3 days, then not touch it for a week. I'm lucky, I guess. Is it worth it for the... Oh, no. Pudich said, it is worth it for the very first time, but don't get stuck chasing the very first hit or the initial high for the rest of your life. It's addicting and costly if you're unable to stop. Thank you, Pudich. Correct. Pre-employee said, nope, I lost my job and couldn't afford a 1/4 ounce a week. I wasn't getting good enough deals on an ounce, and I'd do it faster if I had a chunk. I don't like snorting lines. That's a shitty addiction. A bump is okay. It can cause mood swings and irritability and being broke. Meth is cheap and lasts much longer. Usually just get methamphetamine if you ain't got $1,000 to party with. You're probably suicidal if you're using drugs. Or maybe it's just cool. People like stimulants. R lion's mane. Then there's R caffeine for men. Lion's mane? Isn't that the mushroom? How is that a female-only subreddit? Okay, people like hash. Some suicidal people use fentanyl or H. Alcohol fits in here too. People like LSD and shrooms and cactuses. People love fucking those cactuses. They cut the top off the cactus from like halfway, or about 4 inches, and then it's a game of inches. No, I digressed a little, my bad. I believe in getting high rather than being locked in your head till you want to stab yourself. Being suicidal? Probably just really shitty parenting. You can use or make health supplements. Make health supplements. It can be whatever micronutrients you think. Yeah, just go outside and grab some dirt and a rock from your backyard and put it in a vegetable capsule. It's going to be better for you. Smoke a rock, eat a mushroom, drink a pot of coffee. Tell them you need 2 people to do this job. I gotta take a piss. I love when employers keep the restroom breaks for lunchtime. The fuck does that mean? Depends on where you start and if anyone cares. God damn. I like this one. Short answer, no. Long, more in-depth answer, hell no. Most illegal drugs are not worth starting, especially if you're thinking it through enough to ask. For your own good, just stay far away, and as far as possible from it and anything else. Thank you, Burnt All My Spoons. You seem like a very upstanding citizen and a role model I would love to interview. Kiss me through the phone, kiss me through the phone. See you later on, see you when I get home.